Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me. How are you? Have a good day, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, now we will come to today's news. And that the Democrats are out of power in the House of Representatives. Nancy Pelosi has no allegiance to continue to protect Joe Biden. She is willing to go ahead and sail him down the river and maybe, support Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, or even her nephew over in California, Governor Newsom, as what I suspect this is the beginning of the end for Biden. I believe this is the way the deep state is going to work to get rid of them because his own people are the ones that are selling him out right now. We have a special counsel that it's going to be launched against him, who is a Trump-appointed attorney. So Nancy Pelosi here is having a big chuckle, because she knows Biden's time is limited now. So let's go and take a look what we have via the Gateway Pundit over here. It says Pelosi laughs and eats a chip when asked about Biden's documents. Since being asked to the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi looks as if she doesn't have a care in the world. Why would she? She's a millionaire. She's made millions in Congress. She has $1 million home in Florida. She doesn't care. She's ready to get out here before the real stuff hits the fan. Recently, while walking through the halls of Congress, Fox News reporter Hillary Vaughn was able to catch up with Pelosi and asked a California lawmaker what she thought about the discoveries that dozens of classified documents found in Biden's possession. Vaughn asked Pelosi, "Do you have any comments on Biden keeping classified documents?" Pelosi would respond by laughing and eating what appears to be a chip watch. Nancy Pelosi eating and chip as she left. Classic Pelosi, right? Classic yet. And don't forget how she responded to classified documents in Trump's house, right? It's a Pelosi responded to President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago FBI race and no one's above the law, including the president. Who that's rich coming from Pelosi, right? We want the truth about your involvement in orchestrating January 6th. Your husband's arrest, your stock trading, etc., etc. Pelosi will surely reserved for no one's above the law rhetoric now that Biden is being investigated, of course, and I think she could care less. To be honest with you, I think that she would be willing to back another horse, another puppet to carry on the regime, the globalists' plan to continue to bankrupt this country and continue to destroy it from within. And then this is some big news. New Twitter files show top Democrats knew there was no Russia Gate story, but pressured Twitter to invent and uphold this narrative. Garland opens up about why he's assigning a special counsel to Biden's classified documents situation, and the Trump Organization is hit with a $1.6 million fine. The newest batch of Twitter files were just released. In this edition, Democrats fought hard to lie that Trump was working with Russia to influence the 2016 election. When reports came out that downplayed the theory, the hashtag release the memo started trending, which had a goal of exposing the accusers of Trump as being liars. Now, because the hashtag went viral, Democrats blamed Russian bots for boosting the popularity on Twitter versus Twitter's algorithm promoting it. However, insiders at Twitter knew there was no significant influence from Russian bots all along. In one instance, a Twitter employee stated, "We are feeding congressional trolls by entertaining this possibility." I like how he called them congressional trolls, because that's what a lot of them really are. Now, the former head of trust and safety at Twitter, Yoel Roth, even stated, "I just reviewed the accounts that posted the first 50 tweets with hashtag release the memo, and none of them show any sign of Russian affiliation." In simple terms, this report shows that fake Russian influence was often a political tool used to discredit Trump and his cabinet. Now, the number one pusher of this fake and damaging story was Representative Adam Schiff of California. On a personal note, I fully believe that Trump was working with Russia. I watched the Russia investigation by Robert Mueller on almost a daily basis. Then I would see Adam Schiff come out from the intelligence community. And he would say, "If you guys knew what I was seeing, you would be horrified. But I can't tell you," so he would leave it very ambiguous. And as if Trump were guilty, that behind the scenes he and his office were telling Twitter, "You need to push the story, you need to back us on these Russian bots," and the fact that Trump is in bed with Russia. But the entire narrative was a lie. And it was very damaging. I'm actually embarrassed that I fell for it. But Adam Schiff should absolutely be embarrassed of himself for sitting on the intelligence community knowing that this was a fake story and pushing it anyway, in order to hurt his political opponent. Now, our national debt here in the United States is skyrocketing. This is why we have something known as a debt ceiling or a limit on how much the US government is allowed to borrow in a specific timeframe. This limit is meant to keep us from spending out of control, but Congress always gets permission to push past it. Well, now Janet Yellen of the Treasury is saying that the United States is going to run out of money, and that they need to push that limit higher. I mean, don't we just passed $1.7 trillion? And we're already broke, like 3 weeks into January. It's crazy. Now because the US government takes loans. If it can't afford to pay those back, then it simply raises the debt. It takes out more debt, more fake debt to pay off old fake debt, or the entire house of cards comes crumbling down with pension plans, payments owed to foreigners' treasury bills, treasury notes, etc. The Biden administration is calling for the debt ceiling to be permanently removed, not so that they can rein in the spending, but so that they can spend without any kind of limitation. But every government does this. This is not just the Biden administration, right? They just happen to be in right now. However, Republicans in the House say that they're going to push back and they are not going to allow the government to continue to spend so recklessly. Now Biden is mad at House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, and has already threatened to veto his new bill before it's hit the floor. Several Republican lawmakers announced in the House that they are preparing to put forward a new bill that would completely abolish the IRS in the way we are taxed right now. This group of lawmakers say the last thing small business owners and the middle-class American working class need is 87,000 new IRS agents looking through their taxes for a crime. It's time to simplify the tax code and get rid of the IRS for the benefit of the country. Now, this doesn't mean that you won't pay no taxes. It also means likely that the wealthy will pay even more taxes, because they won't be able to lower their tax burden down to zero with exclusive write-offs. Now, this could come in the form of a flat tax that everyone pays, that way everybody pays in, including the wealthy. It could also mean that all federal taxes are removed, and that so basically a flat tax for the money you earn, and a flat tax that's a little bit higher on everything that you buy, but then they get rid of all of the other taxes in the tax code. Now, not only would this have the wealthy paying their fair share, but nobody could hide money or buy things on the black market without going through the IRS or the government, right? If they'd get rid of that. So likely you would be taxed again at a flat rate on what you earn. And you would be taxed at a flat rate on what you spend. But then nobody is able to get away with paying no taxes. Now a group of libertarian tax experts say this move would take some getting used to, but would make everyone's life simpler, would bring in more revenue for the government and would save taxpayers hundreds of billions of dollars in wasted government spending. It would also make doing taxes a lot easier. Now, again, President Biden is already mad at McCarthy for blocking his 87,000 new IRS agents that would be combing through lower-income family and middle-class Americans' taxes in order to find crimes that they could find you for the fact that McCarthy is open to this new way of calculating taxes. Has Biden in the White House furious, and he's saying I will veto this bill, we will keep the IRS and we will figure out how to get those 87,000 new crime fighters on the streets. So it's going to be a battle between this tax and spend and tax and save. Thinking in government. China's media mouthpiece The Global Times has called on President Biden to manage the United States Republican crisis created by having Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House. They have argued that Biden could build favor with Beijing if he were to stop the anti-China competition that Republicans want. Now, if you ask me, I think it's a little bit weird that the country of China is calling on Biden to fight Republicans so that they will give China better business terms and better competition against the United States. Terms. So kind of weird. It's almost like China's calling in a favor from Biden to block Republicans. I don't know, kind of weird. Speaking of Republicans, Republican Representative George Santos of New York, the guy who lied heavily to win his seat. He said that if his town gets enough signatures to do a new election or to have him removed, that he will step down. Otherwise, he plans to stay in Congress with all the other liars. I wish that guy would just step down anyway. Okay, the stock indexes are all up, gold is up, silver, and the top cryptos are all up again today. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq just had their best trading week in over 2 months, with the stock market reacting positively to what's going on in government and with the Federal Reserve. However, many experts say this could be a head fake, and it could go up and then we could see it crashing back down. So just keep your eyes open with your money in the market. Elon Musk's electric car company Tesla is taking advantage of Biden's electric vehicle tax credit. Prices have been cut by 20%, ranging from $3,000 to $13,000 off per Tesla. These new pricing options could make it much more affordable for middle-class Americans to buy a Tesla and be a part of the electric car revolution. On top of that, customers could claim up to $7,500 in tax credit if they buy a Tesla before the end of March this year. But as for Tesla, their stock continues to be on a roller coaster, with some saying that Musk is hell-bent on crashing Tesla stock and losing hundreds of billions of dollars, while others stay patient. Tesla is about to have a huge comeback story and make investors a lot of money. Now, Tim Cook of Apple has agreed to a 40% pay cut after the board asked him to lower his pay in order to keep Apple Corporation healthy. He agreed and will now be paid only $49 million, instead of the close to $80 million he was receiving. Can you imagine taking a 40% tax cut and still making close to $50 million? That's over $900,000 a week that this guy's getting paid. That's some serious first world problems, right? All right, now DOJ had Merrick Garland told reporters he decided to order a special counsel against Biden because of the classified documents Biden had kept, because Biden kept changing his story with the media. The number of locations classified documents were held out, how unsecured these documents were, and the fact that Biden couldn't clarify why he had them in the first place, and why they ended up at the 3 different locations. So for these reasons, the head of the DOJ, Merrick Garland, has said we need a special counsel to step in and figure out what's really going on. Now, speaking of Biden, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has invited President Biden to address the nation and Congress in the State of the Union on February 7, so I'll update you on that, but that's the chosen date. The Trump Organization has been ordered to pay a $1.6 million fine at the conclusion of a criminal tax fraud case. While Trump was not personally charged, his CFO will go to jail for 6 months for illegally using tax write-offs to save money. While corporations can't serve jail time, this consequential conviction and sentencing serves as a reminder to corporations and executives that you cannot defraud tax authorities and get away with it. According to Manhattan, DA Elvin Briggs. Now, the $1.6 million is for tax write-offs over a 15-year period. So right around $9,590 to $95,000 a year was written off. So on the grand scale, it's very small, but it is still tax fraud. And so they will have to pay that $1.6 million fine. Top Democrat election specialist James Carville says he's not at all worried about Donald Trump running against Biden or whoever Democrats pick in 2024. Because he's confident Donald Trump will be in jail for the rest of his life. Now, it's not clear why Carville believes this. Is it something to do with January 6th? Is it something to do with the Trump Corporation taxes? Is it something to do with declassified documents held at Mar-a-Lago? He wouldn't say, but he's now publicly telling Democrats expect Trump to go to jail. What do you think? Is Trump really going to go to jail? Or is this just political bickering before an upcoming election? Let me know your thoughts down below. The Pentagon announced that they have over 500 UFO videos they still need to review. But according to sources in the Pentagon, some of these videos are very difficult to explain, probably because of the lack of heat signature of the way that these aerial vehicles move. Thank you very much. WWG1WGA. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button to watch the next episode.